What's up, guys? This video is all about the top 7 things you need to know about San Diego before moving here in 2022. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know what it's like to work, eat, sleep, live, play right here in San Diego, hit that subscribe button, tap that bell. But let's get right into it. Born here in San Diego County, lived up in the Northwest, up in Oregon, and then moved back. And lived up in the Northwest for a good 15 years. So definitely got a feel for being away and then coming back. And sometimes it was the little things, sometimes it was bigger things. But first on my list, got to talk about wild animals, insects, and what you're dealing with here in San Diego. Obviously, it's going to vary greatly whether you're at the coast, right, or if you're further inland. We do have a climate that is a desert climate. Even though we're by the beach, it is a desert. You go hiking, you're going to come across a rattlesnake. That doesn't always happen, but anytime we're walking our dog or taking the kids for a walk or going further into areas that don't have a lot of foot traffic, you got to be on the lookout for those snakes during the day. Gosh, we live 5 miles inland from the beach, and we're still seeing a ton of wildlife, even in our fairly compact, built out neighborhood, with all of the coyotes. People have seen bobcats. There's been, quite frankly, a lot of these animals just have, we're living in their habitat. And so they're always around, and likewise in the evening. Gosh, I've even had a coyote walking about 5 feet behind me while I was walking my dog. So, there is wildlife. I know my family hates spiders, but we have them, and yes, there are some venomous ones, but like my brother-in-law says, he's an ER doc here in San Diego, really, there's nothing in San Diego or really in Southern California that can truly kill you as long as you can get to the hospital. So I don't know if that should be more comforting or a little concerning, but one of my big pet peeves and maybe I'm just susceptible to it and not everyone is, are mosquitoes. And by the beach is basically the only place that I've been able to find a safe haven. Other than that, you got a 5-minute drive inland, and I'm getting eaten up anytime, the sun sets. So, for anyone, maybe you're coming from the south, maybe you're coming from another, climate that actually has real bugs. Well, I don't know what to say. I can't stand the mosquitoes that we have. So if you're susceptible to that, then you got to be aware of that. The only other thing house related, because I'm in real estate and I'm always paying attention to what's affecting homes, are termites. And I would like to say that there will always be termites in California homes, even if it's a brand new construction. Even if a property gets a clean bill of health, I question the fact that they didn't miss a couple termites, because they're airborne, they can be coming from the ground. Welcome to Southern California. We have termites in our home, and you have to anticipate it. It doesn't matter, they don't care if you're renting or buying the place. So that's my quick wrap up on animals, insects. Let's get into the next topic, and that would be really our roads, our freeways, and what I want to pinpoint is just how long we've been working on all of our infrastructure here in San Diego, trying to update and take care of our roads. We don't have a lot of extreme weather, so I think that our budget has been minimized on how well we've taken care of our roads, because we haven't had to get ready for the harsh winters with the snow. We haven't had the heat that some other areas like in Arizona have. So because of that, and because we're a younger city, we haven't had to expand as much, and we haven't had to take care of or allot a lot of money to those roads. And in my opinion, in older neighborhoods, closer to San Diego, especially, just really crappy roads. Neighborhood roads aren't taken care of as well. And then going back to construction, it seems like they're always working on part of Interstate 5. I know up here in North County, we've had a multi-million-dollar, expansion of the freeway, and they're trying to ease up some of the traffic that is starting to continue to come as more and more people move to San Diego. So it's nothing pretty, and it takes a long time, and I know the goal, especially on the freeway, is to help and aid traffic, but I feel like if anything, it's just causing more traffic, and hopefully that'll fix itself long term. But next up on the list, and this is a big one to myself, maybe not everybody, is our water quality. And I know that every government agency and every city always says they've taken care of their water. Well, I was coming from up in Oregon, a small town that had just incredible water, and we would drink it right from the tap, and it was absolutely fabulous. And in the winter, it was even ice cold, which was incredible. San Diego water is just not that. If you're not picky about your waters, then it's completely fine. But if you can't stand having that hard water and that buildup on your shower, if you're a car fanatic and you like to wash your car, you're getting water spots. As far as drinking it, it's not the best at all, in my opinion at least. And then you have so many alternatives to get better water on a daily basis that for me, at least for my health, that's what I turn to. And then I don't know if you've seen our video on Carlsbad, but Carlsbad has one of what they tout as being one of the healthiest waters around. But it's coming directly from their spring. So you got the Carlsbad water, and then the million other resources we have here to get water delivered or for purchase. But you got to just keep that in mind, especially if water means a lot to you. Next one on the list is really just the age of our homes here. The average, or I would just say this, the majority of homes here in San Diego are over 30 plus years. Now there's many that are even older than that as well, but we're talking over 75% of San Diego homes are over 30 plus years old. And there was the big boom of the majority of everything being built in the 70s. And as you wander further and further from Metro San Diego, you will see newer and newer neighborhoods. But if you're coming from some home built in the 40s over in New England on the East Coast, and you're coming here, it's going to be a wake-up call because they're a lot newer. Sometimes I joke that we just got cookie-cutter homes especially throughout North County and all these newer developments that are 20, 25 plus years old. My friends and family in Dallas, Texas, make fun of just how cheaply made our homes are. But you know what? It's the values in the land, and the contractors and the builders that are building these homes realize that this is the only type of weather they really have to prepare for. We don't have the extreme weather. So unfortunately, homeowners like myself and others, you're not getting the most incredibly well-built, weather-tight home. And then beyond that, it's just a different style. We don't have basements. We don't have crawl spaces unless you're looking at a home that's much older here in San Diego. We're much more of a garage. The good part is not everyone's used to having a garage. The downside is you have a 2 to 3 car garage, whether you choose what you want to do with that space. But because it's newer development, that's where there's stuff called Mellorews, where added tax for these newer construction homes, and those sometimes are a 30, 40-year bond that can last for quite a while. So I think there's a lot of benefits to having newish type homes, but depending on where you're coming from, you need to be aware of it. Next on the list, especially from people coming from everywhere, is that no one or very few people are born and raised here. They're coming from everywhere. Now, I was born here, but I felt more connected with others that have come from other parts of California, other parts of our country or others, just because I felt like I did a lot of my, young adult years away from California. And so when I came back, I tended to connect with those people more, and there are a heck of a lot of them. I would say that more often than not, when you chat with somebody, they were born here in San Diego. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it does contribute to a different type of culture here in the county. It will vary by city, it'll vary by neighborhood and where you're at, but it feels like everyone has a completely different backstory. And I think there's benefits of it, that maybe they're bringing their culture into the communities, whether that's cuisine and different restaurants. I know my kids have met a lot of really neat friends, coming from also different cultures, speaking different languages while they've been going to school. But then on the flip side, it can kind of get negative in that, there's a reason San Diego lost the Chargers is because no one was going to the Charger games, or not enough people were going to the Charger games. They're blacking out the game itself because everyone's watching it from home. Because if you did go to the Charger game, it was full of Steeler fans, or it was full of Raider fans, or it was full of Bronco fans, because we don't have a massive pull in our community here, because people are coming to San Diego already being die-hard Green Baker fans because of their growing up in Wisconsin. Green Bay fans. But yeah, so you see that in sports. I'm keeping my fingers crossed we keep the Padres. Petco's an awesome stadium. The Padres, they've never quite pulled it off in the time that I've been here, but they're fun to watch. I just want to make sure that you're aware of that, because it is a massive difference than when you go to any other city like Philadelphia, New York, Denver, Green Bay. Those cities just seem to have that culture and that support behind their teams, and I do think it carries on with a lot of stuff. So next up, I've talked about this before in other videos with the no seasons. It's important to reiterate, just because this is the abnormal weather we have here. People panic when it goes above 75 and gets a little breezier than this, and we also panic when it dips below 65. So that's the mindset of the people here. But then also, I talked about before with homes being built for no weather. And because we really don't have much weather, it's a rarity that you wake up in the morning and even see any frost or ice out. Likewise, we just had a heat wave that lasted 3 or 4 days, and it was miserable. And granted, I've become soft, but it was miserable, and we didn't even hit triple digits. So it's just it's a really mellow climate. That's why I love it. That's why I raised my family here. But the downsides to this area, people talk about how crazy our earthquakes are, especially people from the Midwest and elsewhere that don't live in an area with earthquakes. And don't get me wrong, they'll scare the crap out of you when they happen. But maybe it's because I remember feeling them when I was a young kid. And maybe it's because I've just learned more and more about them, and that we have them almost daily to a certain degree. And it's just the larger ones that you actually are feeling, and then shaking your bed around a little bit, or you're sitting in the kitchen and you feel, or you hear the plates and the cups kind of moving around in the cupboard. It's just something you get used to, and it doesn't happen all the time to that degree. And I don't know, I mean, you can give me some crap about this in the comments if we have a big earthquake, and then you can rewind to this video and say it is a big deal. But thus far, I'm in my 40s, and I've become absolutely happy with and comfortable with how it's been. Also, people talk about wildfires a lot, and we have them, and it's devastating to those areas. But I feel like, as a whole, it's glorified a little bit and over promoted as far as when people are concerned about, oh, is my home going to be at risk? It's really not. I think the insurance companies have capitalized on it, really, really taking it to people, homeowners that are going to have to pay extra insurance for that fire coverage. But I've lived up and down the coast from North County, San Diego, all the way down south, and have never felt like I've been in danger or been concerned that it was truly going to affect our homes. Now, if you live inland and you want to have space and you want to be near the brush and the trees, especially in areas that have been vulnerable in the past, then absolutely, that's going to take place. But in our communities in and around San Diego, especially that are closely monitored by the fire departments, they've just had a phenomenal track record of taking care and managing the safety of those homes when they do take place closer to residential homes. So not a huge issue in my opinion. And then let's wrap it up with number 7. The last one to me is really that you're just close to everything in San Diego. It doesn't matter if you're in North County. It just feels like it's a short 15-20 minute drive south to get to where you want to go. It's being centrally located in like the Carmel Valley, Del Mar, even Solana Beach area. To me, you can shoot anywhere, out to the east, up north, down south. I think it's only when you pigeonhole yourself into a corner corridor in San Diego that it gets a little longer. But on a weekend evening, you can drive from downtown San Diego, all the way up to northern San Diego in 25-30 minutes, and that's one of the biggest drives that we have. And aside from that, you can pop down to everything. You just got to time it right and learn when the traffic is taking place. One of the thorns in almost everyone's side here in San Diego is the traffic fair for the San Diego Fair over in Del Mar. Obviously, events like Comic-Con and different things down in San Diego really make a havoc of all the traffic. But when you're here, you can learn, okay, when you have to do things to make sure that it's not an absolute hit. So let me know what questions you guys have. Again, if this is helpful, hit that subscribe button, tap that bell, and catch you guys on the next video. Adios.